Warzone 2 definitely has some problems, but most of them are small glitches that are easily addressable by the developers. However, there are some larger problems at hand that everyone is seeming to struggle with, even if they don't immediately realize what the issue is. So, let's talk about everything wrong with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if we can keep the comment section from becoming an echo chamber for how much you dislike the game, because that's not the point of this video. My goal is to raise awareness for the issues and hopefully see them fixed sometime in the near future. What I would like to see in the comments is a feature, maybe one I miss in the video, that you feel is missing from the game. Either way, let's begin by addressing the obvious. I think we've all had our games crash about 1,000,000 times, and that was something that was happening already in the beta release of the game. So really, I'm starting to become a bit concerned about it. I know they've already put out one patch to help players from crashing while in parties, but it seems it didn't fix it completely. Not to mention, when you're in parties, sometimes you get stuck in a loop of connecting when you're searching for a match. Also, within those obvious issues, we have the user interface. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically all the boxes and menus you scroll through to find whatever you're looking for in the pre-game lobbies, like your guns, your friends list, etc. Not sure how many of you all are aware, but Infinity Ward actually hired someone that did the UI for Hulu to help create one for Modern Warfare 2. To say the least, it seems like this poor guy is a one-trick pony, because these menus feel absolutely endless for no reason. And this isn't even to mention that some menus are completely inaccessible while playing on mouse and keyboard without having to call in the National Guard for help. But sadly, the UI is the least of our worries. When we first got our hands on the beta, I think most players were pretty upset with the progression trees and the gunsmith overall, and how it was unbelievably confusing to find out where to get attachments for your weapons. And while I'm slowly learning it, and I think others will follow suit within the next few weeks, there's still a few problems. First of all, some attachments don't even tell you how to unlock them or at what level, so you're basically just using a weapon and waiting around until it unlocks randomly after some matches down the road, which feels monotonous. But even after you unlock those attachments, 99% of them slow down the speed at which you aim down your weapon. This is leaving a lot of players with really only 3 options. You either 1, sit completely still with your weapon ADS for the entirety of every match, 2, you rush everyone and hope they also have bad attachments, or 3, you run no attachments and just use default weapons. Truthfully, not very great options to choose from, and almost makes me feel like working so hard to get all these attachments is pointless. And yes, before anyone in the comments says the time to kill in Modern Warfare 2 is too fast, I understand your thinking, but it's selfish thinking. In Warzone, they raised the time to kill to where it basically alienated the vast majority of players because the average player couldn't slip and slide cancel their way out of every engagement like a more skilled player could. If they were to raise the time to kill in Modern Warfare 2, it would do the exact same thing. Lower skilled players need to be able to get eliminations as well if a game is going to succeed, because they're the life of the game, unlike the top 3%. Heck, if the top 3% of players stopped playing Call of Duty, the franchise would probably do much better because the average player would be none the wiser to most of the issues other than those that are blatantly obvious, like crashes and bugs. Now, based on previous Call of Duty titles, there's a lot of missing features that are quality of life features that just make the game better. And I'm actually really confused as to why they never made their way into Modern Warfare 2. First, why is it when you turn on a double XP, there's no timer to know when it's going to end? Additionally, after having this implemented into Warzone, why are we unable to use a double XP token while in a match? That was an awesome feature that made the lives of hundreds of thousands of players much easier, as they didn't have to waste their precious double XP. Which, by the way, isn't even double XP. I don't know if maybe I'm seeing things wrong, but every time I'm scoring above 10,000 XP, it ends up only giving me 1.5 times XP rather than 2 times XP. Maybe my math is wrong, but I'm pretty sure I should already be at level 55 by now with how much experience I've lost out on from this. Honestly, it makes me question if this was done on purpose to sort of nerf the better players and not discourage the low-skilled players when they see someone at a higher level. And if that's the case, what's the world coming to? First, we have a matchmaking system that's meant to give bad players easy lobbies and coddle them like babies, but now having a higher level is going to discourage them from playing? Where do we draw the line with this? Either way, that's not even most of it. Aside from the hundreds of unlockable camos, which I will say is pretty freaking awesome, there's no challenges. Of course, every day we're being given our daily challenges, but growing up between myself and my dad, our favorite part of playing Call of Duty was doing all the challenges that would give you calling cards and emblems. Maybe they're just looking to add this all in with Season 1 as to keep players interested in playing the multiplayer modes rather than DMZ and Warzone 2, but I really wish it would have come out at the launch of the game. Sadly, having a lot of these features missing makes the game feel unfinished. And other than those big features, we're still missing ranked, our personal stats, leaderboards, blueprint saves, an in-game kill counter, hardcore mode, and so much more. The truth is, while I'm loving the little bit of the game I've been handed, it feels like I'm just playing an extended demo with camos and unlockable attachments without these features. But aside from all of that, we still have the mechanics and the map design. When it comes to mechanics, I think the only real issue I have is that just like the beta, it still feels a bit clunky. When I first hopped on Modern Warfare 2 after playing Warzone for the past few weeks, it felt like any sort of movement is punishing. And that's fine. I understand why they've done that, but for those of you that don't, let me explain. Just like every other decision they've made, it's all about keeping the lower skilled players happy. The same players that couldn't slide cancel in Warzone are the ones that they're protecting by removing any advanced movement, and for good reason. Keeping them happy will keep the game alive, plain and simple. So in this case, if you're more of a rusher, it's probably time to adapt if you're going to continue playing Call of Duty. And when it comes to map design, I'd like to meet a single player that likes the map with all the cars sitting in the middle and 2 straight shot lanes down the same side. Because unless you're playing free-for-all, this one just doesn't work. But really, it just kind of stinks that all the larger maps for game modes like Invasion are basically just expanded versions of the smaller maps. I know we're trying to make it easier for players to memorize these maps to more quickly have fun, but if I already don't like the car map, why would I want to play a bigger version of it in a different mode? Let me be clear. With everything I've said, I know this may feel like I'm roasting Modern Warfare 2, but they actually did a lot of things right by me. The game is absolutely stunning. Seriously gorgeous, even when playing on PS5. When I'm finally able to hop into a match after all my crashes, I'm actually having a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm getting stunned a million times in respawn modes, but when playing S&D and Prisoner Rescue, it makes me feel like a little kid again. And that's not even to mention all the bickering between teams after rounds, which, God, makes the game so much better.
Yo, guys, I got an announcement. Suck my f***ing
Reported. Not for what you said, but for your annoying voice.
I seriously love this game. In fact, it's the most fun I've had in a Call of Duty multiplayer experience in years. But because of that, I want to see this game succeed. I want to see it be the absolute best it can be. And sadly, that's just not what we have right now. I'm glad they released it when they did, which I know sounds counterintuitive to the whole point of this video, but I'd like to think that without the help of the community, they wouldn't have even thought to fix most of the problems we're having before it released. But heck, what do I know? I just make Call of Duty videos for a living. And speaking of which, if you're trying to level up your Modern Warfare 2 guns as fast as possible, make sure to click the video on screen now and subscribe, dang it.